All right. What's up, everybody? Hey, how's it going? It's episode number 85 of the Unknown Games podcast, where we talk about video games and life in Japan, fast food, and all that wonderful stuff that we talk about. Someone told me not to say stuff and things. It's never a good habit to say stuff and things.
Okay, in the same sentence.
Yeah, like in the same sentence. It's just, I don't know. It's just like, you should be more
But
descriptive.
descriptive.
Yeah, you should be a descriptive person when you're talking about
So, like,
topics
what would you say, like, Japanese food and
and games.
I guess, yeah. All right.
Well, my name is Adrian. I'm your host, and I'm joined today, as always, with my friend, co-host, and the best, I guess, best waterfowl that's still living, Alex.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I'm overdue. I'm just gonna fucking. I'm
we
about to die, really.
we've determined there's about 7 more years or something. Last episode, there's a you're in the midlife.
Yeah, I really am. I guess.
I don't know.
I should buy a car or something. I don't know. What do
Do
you? What do people do for their midlife crisis? Do they just buy cars and stuff? Like, I don't understand.
I don't know. I mean, like do you think people have midlife crises before their midlife? I'm pretty sure I had a midlife
I
crisis
think that's
before
just more
mine.
of like a quarter life crisis kind of
I had a
thing.
quarter
Yeah.
life crisis for sure. I
I
can tell
did
you
too,
that.
actually. Yeah, I did too. And I was just like, I pretty sure I just wasted my life. Like I wasted all of my life so far. Yeah, that was
Like,
pretty much it.
20, 25, 26, 7, somewhere around there. You're gonna have a little moment where you're like, well, what am I doing?
What have I done actually with my
What
life?
have I done? Where am I
Yeah.
going to?
And it like, and you'll be on the internet and you'll come across like this super talented like content creator or musician or whatever, right? And you're
Yep,
like, oh
yep.
wow, this person's really amazing, talented. Like, how old are they? They're like, I'm 19. I'm like, what?
You're like, wait, you got like a head start on us. Like, what are you
Yeah, I'm
doing?
like,
Like, how
how
did
is
you
this
figure this out?
possible? What? This isn't fair. Yeah.
Man, these people, how do they do it these days? They
Yeah,
start
I don't know.
young.
Yeah.
They start
Yeah.
young, knowing what they want to
Like
do.
I think the vocalist of Yoasobi is like I want to say like 20 or something.
Wait, so she was just doing this stuff from Yoasobi, for everyone who's wondering. She's a Japanese musician who primarily does, I guess she releases things by the internet starting out, right?
Well, she is her own like singer-songwriter. She like goes
Mm-hmm.
by her name Ikura, and then she's also the vocalist for Yoasobi. So so she kind of does just like those two groups, I guess. Well,
Just
not
does her.
groups, but yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I looked at her person now. She's 20. She's
Man,
yeah.
making the money.
She's so like I've been so I mean I've been actually listening to a lot of USB recently, and she's like a really really good singer, and
There's like
she's
good
yeah
singers, like for
she's
real.
only like 20. Yeah,
It makes me
I
wonder how
think
old
I
Zutamayo is
can't remember
too.
what listing it is right now, but there's like girls she tweeted she's like, oh, thank you so much for the support for the most recent USB song, I can't Momochido or something. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then on the same list, she didn't like bring it to attention or anything, but her own like single, like as a solo artist, was on the same list. I'm like, you're responsible for two of those songs. Like,
You're
holy shit.
you're doing it. You're doing it big. That's
Yeah,
when you know.
like damn.
That's when you know. And like I know a lot of these like even like manga artists or people like that we kind of works that we read. You're just like, oh man, they must have a ton of experience. Sometimes you look at it, it's like, man, this dude's just like out of high school. What in the
Yeah, I know, I
you
know.
know?
Yeah. So she's 20
Oh
now. So when like what was the most popular USB? Like Yoru ni Kakere, right? That was like a
yeah,
pretty big song like
I think
last
that
year or
was one of
something like
the
that.
one of the biggest ones last year.
Yeah, she would have been like 19 or so when she recorded.
But
Like, oh my
but
God, you're so old.
like the music industry, that tends to kind of trend younger. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if you ain't like in your teens or something, then you haven't been discovered. But I guess the cool thing about music is that anyone can really make it as long as they have the right support and they find it. I mean, if we wanted to
Sure.
start singing, we could make it.
Yeah, I probably couldn't. I mean, look at I don't know. Look at Justin Bieber. How old was Justin Bieber when he recorded his
Yeah,
first single? He was like
Bieber was
like 14 or so. He was an
four,
actual baby, right?
he
Like,
he was baby Bieber. That's Canada pride
yeah,
for you right there.
yeah.
Take you know. Anyways, well, thanks everyone for joining us. If you're here listening on YouTube, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment as well. And if you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify, Google Podcast or iTunes, I said that twice.
Google, wait, Google Why'd you say it like that?
I told you every time I'm about to say Google Podcast, I'm about to say like Google Spotify,
You're like Google
Google
Podcast.
Anchor, Google
Can we clip
anything.
that? That's how you pronounce it forever from now on. It's the
Google
official pronunciation.
Podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you yeah, so if you're there, be sure to leave a 5-star review. I mean, you don't have to leave a 5-star review. You can leave whatever rating you want.
Yeah, but preferably five. Preferably five.
I don't want to take away people's freedom, free
Yeah.
will. That's what the world runs on. Some say
Yeah.
maybe it shouldn't.
That's like the most American thing you've ever said. The world runs on freedom. Like, holy shit, buddy. Alright.
What can I say? Tapping into some roots there for a second.
Yeah.
Anyways, today we're going to be talking about I didn't have any topics. I think I looked up some news, but I wasn't really I wasn't feeling the news this week.
Yeah, sure. I mean, me too. Like, yeah. I mean, in game news, sure. I mean, we can just like I'm gonna go just like super briefly here, but I mean, the only thing that really popped up to me, is we got a new trailer for Back for Blood, which is by the same team responsible
The
for the
Left
original
4.
Left 4 Dead.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it.
So, okay.
But I'm like,
But-
okay, Back for Blood. That's fine. I mean, because I spent like hundreds of hours into the original Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 back when that
spent
came
5.
out. Sorry, what? 5 hours? Holy
Yeah,
shit.
probably 5, probably 10, maybe 5 or 10.
Oh,
I didn't have a
spent,
PC. I didn't have a PC.
Oh, but it was on console though.
I no, it was on
Oh, but
360.
you didn't have an Xbox, right? Is
Yeah,
what you're
I
saying?
wouldn't know. I wasn't. I didn't have 360 until I got one.
Oh, okay, so I
a
put
later
like
date.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into Left 4 Dead 1 and 2.
Mhm.
So when they announced Back for Blood, I was like, maybe I'll jump back into this kind of style of game, but I don't know if I will, just because I don't know if I have like friends. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like it's one thing. I think you have friends. It's more the fact that like, do your friends have time to then also want to play this game instead of playing another game together? You know what I mean?
We're like, I mean,
That's the hardest
we're
thing.
more likely to play Apex at this point, but I don't know. Maybe Back for Blood will surprise us because it is
I mean,
a
it
bit of a
looks
unique formula. I mean, it's kind of fun. I don't know.
it looks the same as I mean, it's like a better version of what they've already done. It's like they
Yeah.
improved. But since Left 4 Dead has come out, there's been so many multiplayer 4-person squad, either kill zombie games or co-op in some other ways to do
Yeah.
stuff.
But Left 4 Dead was unique in the sense that it was supposed to be, I mean, the pimping point, like the bullet point on the back of the box was the
Mhm.
AI director, where it would
Right,
direct
right.
your experience. So apparently, I don't know if it's true or not, but they were able to measure like the stress of a player, and if a player was having difficulty, the AI director would dial things back a little bit. They would be a little more friendly with health items that they would that show up in rooms. Or the opposite, if they felt like you were doing a little too well, they would reduce the number of items. They would increase the spawns of zombies, that kind of thing, right?
That's probably what they were doing, not monitoring actual player stress level. That would be, that would be something kind of cool.
But yeah, that would probably be like they would require a different kind of peripheral, like the fabled Wii heart rate.
The heart
sensor.
rate sensor. Wasn't there a sleep monitor too that was going to come out? Wii
A
Sleep.
what monitor?
Never mind. There wasn't a Wii Sleep. It was what I forgot what the whole Wii Health initiative.
Yeah, it was way
included.
back when. And I want to say in E3 back when Nintendo was doing E3. This is for the Wii, so this would have been like 2008 or 2009 or something like that.
Right.
And they showed off like a heart rate monitor that clipped to your finger, so it was measuring your heart rate via the same way that an Apple Watch will measure like your heart rate. It will shoot like a light into your skin, and when the light gets reflected back, it can be like, oh, this is your heart rate because like this is the rate that light is coming back to us. It was supposed to be a Wii accessory that would measure your heart rate, and people were like, oh, what would they use this for? But it obviously never came out, so who knows what they were planning.
Never did. Nothing. It never did.
I feel like they could. I mean, would you want a heart rate accessory for the Switch? Like, do you think that would?
No, I mean I think for the DS, yeah. For the DS,
what would the DS use it for?
because the DS, I think everyone had the DS on them. At least in Japan, like people were walking around with their DSs, or at least even in the wherever the Switch was. No, sorry, the DS was in your bag. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know a lot of people carrying their Switches. I think a lot of people play their Switch in handheld mode at home inside.
Right.
Well,
So the heart
especially
rate
now,
sensor it's not something that you like wear for fitness purposes. It would be to measure your heart rate during a video game. So it would be like, oh, you are stressed right now, so we'll make things easier for you.
Did we have a game that did something similar to that? I'm sure there is a game that actually does.
I don't know because there's between the three major console makers, Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft, there
Hmm.
is no official heart rate sensor, so no one can take
No,
advantage
yeah,
of that for a video game. I mean, maybe there's a thing for PC, but it would certainly wouldn't be a major release. It would definitely be an indie thing.
it'd be very indie. Right, right. That would be kind of cool. Beats per minute, your actual heartbeats per minute.
There's just no video game I mean, okay, here's the thing.
There's tons of concepts you could do, just like you were talking about the AI director. That's one simple way. But even something I would say horror games are probably the easiest to
Yeah,
do it
but
in.
there's no console like with that has an official heart rate reader. The
Right,
Switch
right.
can do it right now with the infrared sensor. If you have Ring Fit, at the end of every level, it's like put your thumb on this and we'll tell you your heart rate.
Hmm.
That they'll do it that way, but that's not the
That's
primary
not
purpose
active. Yeah,
of.
it's not actively monitoring.
Well, it is like that's
It's
your real
monitoring.
time.
Well, I mean, like it's like after the fact, but I mean, we're talking about like while you're playing the game.
Well, I mean, they could do it though if you just like kept your thumb on it at all
Oh, just
times.
kept on it at all times.
But that's not what the Joy-Con is designed for. It can do it, but it's not what it's primarily designed for. But
Right, right.
there's of the three major console manufacturers, they don't have an official heart rate sensor.
They could totally get on this. We should email somebody at one of these companies, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, and Nintendo's probably like we're done with that, but we can make it work with Microsoft and Sony. Tell them
Yeah, and the thing, I mean, like we were talking last episode about like what would a Switch 2 need to have to justify a
you,
console generation.
you want them to have the health thing built in
Well,
this time.
the heart rate sensor, like I don't want it. It could be used for health purposes, but I don't want the Switch to be a health device. That's not.
I
I
feel like
think
that's
what
what they would do with it if it were if
I
it
mean,
were.
if they were to add a heart rate sensor to the Switch, it would need to be done in a non-intrusive way. For example, build it into the Joy-Con proper, like it just in the back, so you're holding it
So you're
constantly all the
always
time.
holding it. Right,
Yeah.
right.
And it would have to be non-intrusive because like the thing about selling the clip-on thing for your finger is
Hmm.
like
That's very intrusive.
people have to be like, okay, well now I got to clip this to my finger. Now I can't use my pointer finger. I can't point at stuff because there's a
Well, I
thing on
mean,
it
like
now.
if anyone's wondering about what it looks like, the clip on. I mean, I
It
think if
looks
you
like a
ever,
medical device. Yeah, it
yeah,
looks
yeah,
like a medical device.
if you've
Yeah,
ever been to the doctor and you just,
and they clip it to your
and they clip it
yeah.
to your finger. I don't know if they do that in the U.S., but I know in Japan. I know what's happened to me in Japan. Those
Yeah, yeah,
happen.
yeah. So that's exactly what it is, but it's very intrusive, and it's like
Hmm.
if you do that, you can't
You
point
can't
at
you can't
stuff. You
game.
use your hand properly. So if Nintendo wants to build a heart rate sensor into one of the controllers, it has to be extremely non-intrusive. It has to be invisible to the user, so that they don't really mind having this thing on them really, or they don't know that their heart rate is being monitored. And then like even if Nintendo does it, like game developers now have to be like, oh, what the hell do we do with heart rate data, right? Like what do
Whatever
we
they
even
want, man.
use this for?
Whatever they want. They can dissect how many of their player base has horrible heart rate.
Sure. And okay,
They're
but I
gathering
mean it would
statistics
need to be
there.
used as like I think it needs to be used as like an actual like it would need to unlock a feature of like like an aspect of because like in the same respect that Rumble was like okay now you can like have more of an immersive
you
experience.
you were really thinking about this when you were really on, like you want this.
I don't want it. No. Like no. I mean like if it can be used in a way that makes sense and that isn't like shoehorned in, then absolutely. Like an example of bad shoehorning is like if you remember when the DS launched, um, the first couple of launch titles used the stylus in a
Hmm.
really bad way.
I
Like
think we didn't get into like really good uses of the stylus until
until I would say like 2 years after, maybe.
I would say at least with Brain Age, at least with like because
Yeah,
that
oh
was
yeah,
like
I
a
could use it as
like
like a drawing thing, or like or scribble
yeah,
knots or whatever,
or
right?
Scribblenauts or something. Yeah.
But like I remember like there was a launch title Ridge Racer game for the DS where the only way and I'm serious, the only way to at least as far as I know, sorry, the only way to steer is to use the stylus and you're like dragging a picture of a steering wheel, like you're like turning it with the style. It's really bad. It's
That's
awful.
too bad. Oh wait, I remember. I think
It's really
was it called
bad.
Ridge
It's really
Racer
bad.
R,
Yeah.
Ridge Racer R or something
It
like.
just
And I think you had to like scribble. You had to like turn with the wheel, and it's bad.
you have to use the stylus to like
Yeah,
turn
the
it, and
stylus.
it's
Yeah.
like that's an example of like, oh well, what the hell do we do with a touchscreen? Okay, obviously we can use this to turn a steering wheel. Like it's just really bad implementation of a feature. And I feel like if Nintendo were to use like the heart rate or to
Hmm.
add that as a feature of a console, we would probably see a ton of garbage
I mean,
stuff like
yeah,
that
we
for a
would see
while.
garbage stuff. I mean, they would have like their certain games that did it properly, you know what I mean? But everyone else would have the occasional kind of hit. I can't remember what game it was, but it was I believe it was a zombie game that used the Wiimote really well. I think they used the speakers on the Wiimote pretty creatively. By the
There was a couple of the speakers on the Wii is actually another good example of that as well. But like, I remember, what is it, like Red Steel used it,
oh oh, thanks Ubisoft. Ubisoft.
um, in a kind of cool way, and I think No More Heroes used the speaker in a kind of cool way.
Red Steel, was that launch?
I believe that was launch.
I feel like
Maybe it was
that
close to
was a
launch.
launch
Yeah,
one. Yeah, right. What was that? Cowboys and samurai? Not samurai, but swords.
it was
I,
like guns and swords,
it
but
was
yeah.
guns and swords, right? Well,
But the speaker in the Wii is also a good
it's
example
a good one.
of like some people got it right and some people got it like
Well,
why bother putting like what are you why are you playing certain sounds out of this and not just play from the TV? You know what I mean? But
sometimes, like I said, there were a couple games that did it really well, and it even still influences the controllers today. You look at the PS5 controller; it's
the
right in front of
PS5,
you. It's got a
PS4 have
speaker.
speakers in there. Yeah, yeah.
Who I've never ever played a game that's used those speakers before. I don't know.
So
I,
I played a Fate game actually that played certain sound effects from the controller.
okay, okay.
And I didn't realize because I did it as a let's play actually. It's on my
Mhm.
YouTube channel. It's like way on the fucking bowels of my YouTube channel. But I play with headphones and I record with headphones.
Right, right.
And I remember like editing the audio for my recordings and I'm like, what in the hell is that sound? Like, why is this so loud? Like, are my headphones leaking audio? Like, why is this tone in particular so loud? It took me a while to realize that like this sound effect was coming from my controller and therefore going into my microphone. And I was like, oh, why though? Well, there's no reason why
Just
this
like
particular
is
sound effect
this
has to come from the controller. Like,
from
why
the
not play that? Why not just
it's
play that? Yeah, through the speakers. I don't know, but yeah.
and so I guess we can kind of get on into our topic, like what we're going to be talking about. I mean, it's just this is all personal opinion, and if you have an opinion about your favorite console generation, what you enjoyed playing the most, like which gen you enjoyed playing the most, definitely leave us a voicemail or hit us up on Twitter, UGP_cast. Leave us a message there, and or Anchor.fm. There is a leave a voicemail. Do one of those two things. We'd love to hear from you, or leave a comment in the video. So
Yeah, or jump into my chat, Root24 on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Root24. Jump into my chat. Definitely like let me know what your favorite
this
console
man
generation is.
knew. This man
Yeah.
knew. I was like, man, I skipped over the Twitch
I
stuff.
stream Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. JST. We definitely play video games. Or it's usually video games. But definitely if you have an opinion on what you like to play, come let me know and we'll talk about it.
Go follow that man. I'm gonna pimp myself at the end because we're gonna get on into it. Because my favorite console gen is still undetermined. I don't know, man. I gotta say my first console. I guess we can start where our first console was. My first thing was a Game Boy, like normal
That's a
fat Game Boy.
I mean, technically me
That was
too.
my first
Yeah, yeah.
that I owned as
Oh,
a
that you
child.
like
That I
that
was
wasn't.
given to me. Sorry, that was given to me as a present or something.
But you're an only child, aren't you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I mean, so my first console, that I want to say that was like mine, was probably, I
Did I?
guess the Game Boy, but it wasn't for me. It was for my sister, and she didn't want it, so she gave it to me.
Her
Yeah,
loss. Her loss.
yeah.
Actually, I don't know. Did I? Because I know. So what got me into games was I was over at my cousin's house and he was playing Zelda. I don't know which Zelda. I don't remember. I just remember Link. I just remember the castle and like the opening scene. And I remember I
Like,
used to go to his place. That's all I
wait,
remember.
can you be
Like
a little more descriptive? Because that's
this.
like every fucking Zelda game.
It's that old in my mind. It was
You just
that
can't
old.
be like, yeah, there was a guy named Link in there and a castle. I'm like,
No,
oh,
I didn't even
holy
know his name
shit.
was Link. I didn't know until like years later that okay,
What
that's what
console
I
gen was it? What console gen?
that had to have been like either Super Nintendo or it was in color. It was in full
Okay.
color. That's all I remember. That's all I remember.
Well, that could have been
don't remember much.
like any Zelda except for Link's Awakening on the Game Boy. So like,
Well,
who knows?
you know, so that was happening, and it was because I would go to his place, and when my mom would visit, and I would play like Sega Genesis. So it was during that time period,
So
and
probably was Link to the Past then on the Super Nintendo,
you're bad, yeah. Mm-hmm.
unless they were playing like an older Zelda on the Famicom or the Nintendo. Sorry,
And
the NES. Yeah.
but I would go over there, and after I'd play, I'd go home to my mom and be like, "Oh, I really want to. I want this game. I want this game." So
I want Zelda,
I
yeah.
remember we went to Toys R Us, and I was like, "Okay, I want this Sega Genesis. This is what he has too. And I got the Lion King pack-in edition, so it had
Oh
like the
yeah,
Lion
cool.
King
That's a good game. Yeah.
and then I also got Mortal Kombat 2. I think it's Mortal Kombat 2. It's the
So I'm
Lion
choking on
King,
water.
Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat 2, and then like I don't remember when I got Sonic 1, but I got it from a pawn shop. I remember we went to a pawn shop to get
Okay, that's
Sonic
pretty
1.
funny. I have a similar experience with Sonic 1, but yeah.
No, the worst part is for the longest time playing Sonic 1, I thought the sound didn't work for the game. I thought it was broken. As in, I thought like the cartridge was broken. Don't little kid logic. We don't know about this stuff. And I was like, Mom, it doesn't work. I really love this game. It doesn't work. The sound doesn't work. And so I returned it. And then I'm pretty sure I got Sonic the Hedgehog 2 instead
Mhm.
after that. I take it home and I unmute the TV. I'm like, the sound works. And I was
That's
like,
so
oh my,
fucking. Oh my
I was
god,
like, great.
kids are dumb. Oh man.
Anyways, but that's
But at least you got Sonic 2 out of it. I don't know.
dude, Sonic 2. I used to play the mess out of some Sonic 2. That was
Yeah.
my oh man, and the music.
Yeah, I
So
mean, the Sonic. Oh man, Sonic soundtrack was so good. Like I got a Genesis as well, and actually I got the one that came with Sonic 2. That was like my bundle title, right?
okay.
So I started with Sonic 2. I played the hell out of Sonic 2. I never beat it as a kid. I don't even think I beat it as an adult actually, but
That's me and
um
Mega Man 4 for Game
yeah, I
Boy.
got really far. I got to the Sky Zone, like basically the last one before you fight
Mhm.
Metal Sonic.
Right. Metal Sonic
Um
was fun.
and then later down the line I got Sonic 1. I did beat Sonic 1 like several times actually as a kid. So
Okay.
yeah.
There's
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Uh, so I don't know, but I spent a lot of time when the PS2 came out. I had a 64, so I've had every console except for a 360. I had one like borrowed from my like school club, so I never really gamed on a 360 much. I did have an original Xbox, and then after that, I've had pretty much everything minus a Dreamcast and a Saturn. I always wanted a Saturn and a
You got
GameCube.
you did you have a what are those what are the Sega console? Sorry, I'm having a hard time. There's a
Game
Genesis.
Gear.
This.
I had a
Oh
Game
yeah, the
Gear.
Game Gear, and then
Yeah,
also like the Saturn. What was after the Saturn? Was it the game? Was it Dreamcast after that?
the Dreamcast after that, right? I didn't have a Dreamcast.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I swear to God, there was like one more Sega console, but
You wanted
maybe
you?
I'm just
Oh.
misremembering. Genesis,
Uh,
Game Gear, Sega CD, 32X, Saturn, Dreamcast. Yeah, holy shit. Huh.
yeah. So I played the Saturn. Anyways, the one I still have to say probably PlayStation 2. That's where I spent the most time playing a lot of different games. I owned about 50 games. I beat 45 of them. I kept count. Like I played a lot of PlayStation 2 games, and that system still to this day probably defines like who I am as a gamer. Those the experiences that I had there.
Yeah. Do you still have a PS2? Like, do you have one? Like right now?
Not with me, no. And I never owned a slim PS2. I still just have the fat
Oh,
one. It's
I
still going.
have. So my PS2 back home is a fat, like an OG, like
Hmm.
the fat.
Right.
And then with the slot loading drive, the tray,
Hmm.
sorry, the tray loading drive.
Right.
And then I actually eventually bought a PS2 Slim in Japan in like right before the PS3 came out actually. And I have it still. It's actually right. It's just at arm's length. It's about a meter away
They're
from me.
so
It's
it's a
yeah.
DVD case. It's a
It's
DVD
really small. It's
case.
really
It's
small.
so
Yeah,
small.
it's right over there. It's like an arm's length from me. I was actually playing the bouncer on it like a month ago on stream.
Great use of it. Great use.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, so for PS2, for me, that was the generation because I played my fair amount of Nintendo 64, my N64, but there
Hmm.
was just nothing that, to my mind, like Pod Racer, Rogue Squadron, those games stuck out to me. Mega Man Legends, I played that. I
Mm.
never understood how to play it. I was just playing it. Kirby 64 was like really easy. Like I didn't understand why it was so easy after the Game Boy games. Like sometimes would give me a little bit of trouble when I was a little kid. So I was like, oh, this is cool, but it's just not for me. But when I hit PlayStation, it was just kind of like the games also matured with me. You know what I
Well, yeah.
mean?
I mean, also it's probably just because you, as a human, were like just smarter at the time, and you could probably appreciate games a little better, and you learned
Yeah.
like you knew how to play video games in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I could play 3D games much
I
better
think
than.
I
Yeah.
remember like for me, playing some early RPGs as a kid, like I would make dumb decisions. Like I remember playing, I actually think Chrono Cross actually, like I didn't have stuff equipped to my element grid. Like I
Hmm.
would get new elements and not equip them.
Oh,
So
and
like
just use the same
obviously,
elements against all the bosses, and it's like this
well,
doesn't
I mean,
work.
like
Or
if you ever,
enemies.
it's basically on equipping spell because I don't guess you never played Chrono Cross, but
No,
like
no.
you have to buy your spells or earn them in a sense. Like you have to find them and then you have to like
Hmm.
equip them. If you don't equip
Okay.
them, you can't use them. So like you don't have elements, you don't have spells if you don't equip them.
Right,
You
right.
just
Okay.
have physical
You're
attacks.
just you're just limiting yourself. You were playing on hard mode. That's all. Playing hard mode.
Yeah, and I remember like one of my school friends came over and he's like, "Why don't you have any elements?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah,
It's crazy because like stories like those, and I guess that's one thing I miss about the previous generations, or I guess
yeah.
that's when you're like younger, or when there was no internet. But like I had Kirby's Dream Land 2, and it was so hard to get to the very last thing, like the very last boss, and also get all the rainbows. And every like when I was in daycare, there was this kid. He would like he's like, hey, can I play your Game Boy? I was like, sure, man. Can you beat this for me? And he would just like he just beat the entire game. And I just watched him play the entire game. Like I would watch these older kids just go insane on some of the games that I play, and then I just be like, man, I want to do that. I want to be like that. And I just practice and practice. And every summer there was like a literal phase where I would play Mega Man 4, and to this day I still have not beat that game. I always get to the last level, never have beaten it on Game Boy. I really should go
I
and beat it one day.
yeah, I mean the Mega Man games are actually legitimately hard. I like true story. Actually, I almost failed. I think I did fail my one of my midterms when Mega Man 9 came out.
Oh, that was in college
Yeah,
midterms right there.
yeah, like yeah, it's
That was
fucking
college. That was
yeah, yeah,
college
yeah,
time.
yeah. It's like uni right there. I failed. Like I actually failed my midterm because I wasn't. I was playing Mega
You were
Man.
playing Mega Man 9. That
Yeah,
I mean, Mega Man 9 was really big just because when it came back out, it was like, yo, Mega Man's back. Like
yeah. It's
OG
like the
Mega Man, not.
actual like retro Mega Man is back,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
no, but the Mega Man games are actually legitimately hard. Crash Bandicoot games are kind of hard if you go back to them now. So,
I don't think I want to go back to a Crash Bandicoot game.
did you finish four?
Yeah, no, I'm almost at the end of 4.
Are you just gonna? Are you
The,
giving up on it or what?
no, I'm gonna finish it. That game just stresses me out. The collectibles stress me out. There are so many things to collect and to unlock. Well, not
Okay.
unlock. There's only skins to unlock, but there's so much to collect. It stresses me out. Like when I can't get a perfect on the level, but knowing that getting a perfect on a crash level means like running it like an
Yeah,
obstacle
you have
course.
to break all the boxes and all that
Holy
shit. Yeah,
moly!
you have
It's
to
like
break
they're
all the boxes. You can't leave any of them. You can't. Yeah, exactly. Even the nitro boxes, you have to detonate them
you have to
properly.
detonate them
Yeah,
properly. Dude, it's been giving me some crazy just like anxiety, but I'm like, I still really enjoy the game. I just
yeah.
can
You
only
know,
enjoy
it's
it for like
fun.
an
Like
hour at a
it's
time.
good platforming, but yeah. So anyway, so like, what's your definite? Like, what's your like for you? It's the PS2 gen. So like,
Mm-hmm.
Gen what gen is that? Six? Gen 6?
Is that Gen 6? I don't know these years. I don't know these gens. I just call them the
Console
PlayStation 2 gen.
generation.
The previous gen.
Gen 6 was yep. That's Gen 6. Okay.
Yeah, Gen 6, Gen
So
6.
you're gonna say Gen 6. So that's Dreamcast, PS2, GameCube, and Xbox. That's your that's
Good
the
stuff came out during then.
well, yeah. I mean, um for a lot of people, I believe PS2 in particular like had just like a solid library. There's so many good games on PS2. I think we talked about this on the podcast. Maybe we didn't, but like if I had to only play a gen,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it was my friend's podcast. I can't remember, but
I feel like
anyways.
I do remember this question, like if you could only play or if you could only have this console.
If you only have like one console, what would be? I would pick the PS2. I
Mm-hmm.
maybe it was our podcast. Fuck, I don't even know. But
We're on 85 episodes,
I would
who
pick
knows?
the PS2 despite the fact that it's not the console that I'm the most nostalgic about. I would pick the PS2 because it has an incredible selection of video games
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of good just like um really good video games that I could see myself playing for the rest of my life with Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, we have Final Fantasy 10, we have even FF12 is there's two FFs in that same gen and
There are two.
um
There's actually a FF11 as well on that.
Well, technically, yeah, but
It's online, but hey,
servers dead.
servers
Yeah,
dead. The servers won't be alive. I mean, for me,
fuck the bouncer. I
no,
don't
not
know.
the bouncer. No, but yeah,
Yeah,
you could. I
there's
mean, there's
Xenosaga, like Xenosaga, right? Xenosaga one, two,
Xenosaga.
three. That's PS2
Xenosaga.
right
Well,
there.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Xenosaga 1, 2, 3. We also had, for me, God of War, Devil May Cry,
yeah,
1, 2, and 3. You can scratch one of them off if you want to. And even Ico, Shadow of the Colossus,
yeah. That's PS2.
Res,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Res was there too. Well, Res was
Mhm.
also on Dreamcast, but or
Right.
I think originally, but those games, like, I
You
don't
have
know, there's some
Capcom versus SNK 2. That's all the
mm,
fighting game you ever need. Like that's
all my Armored Cores. I'm sorry, man. I
Yeah,
was
no,
crazy. I
Armored
was
Core,
crazy into
yeah.
Armored Core.
Yeah, you have CVS2, you have MVC2, like you have Guilty Gear, like oh fuck, there's so many good games on the PS2. So yeah.
Oh, not even. I mean, I guess if we're thinking about it, we're talking about the gen, so that would mean Xbox and GameCube in there,
Yeah. And
and
just
people would play
fuck.
some Soul Calibur, man,
Yeah,
Soul
the
Calibur
GameCube,
2.
Xbox, Dreamcast. Like if we're talking gen, like
Yeah, it's the gen.
if you could
Whew.
only play like a gen, like gen, I think Gen 6 is it's where it's at.
That's when you
Like
got like Ninja Gaiden came out on
that's on the
Xbox, like
Xbox. Yeah,
yeah, like
exactly. Yeah.
Xbox games that had to
Yeah.
sell Xboxes were kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I had Steel Battalion. I actually owned Steel
Oh, did you?
Battalion
Yeah. I mean, technically,
with
and
the
if you wanted
controller.
like console shooters, like for sure, there's Halo on the Xbox. Halo 1 and 2 were on Xbox.
Time Splitters.
Time Splitters, yeah, Time Splitters on PS2 and Xbox as well, I think.
Mm-hmm,
And you have
mm-hmm.
SSX Tricky,
SSX Tricky.
SSX3.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, SSX3 was so good. All those SSX games were so good. NBA Street was
Yeah.
good stuff too. And
Oh man.
we're forgetting Unreal Tournament was still around at that time.
Yeah, so you could have, I
The
think
last, I think
Unreal,
that's the last gen, the last
because
console
Unreal
gen
3
of,
was on the next gen, on Gen 7, but yeah.
oh, you're right, you're right. It was on PS3. That's right. 'Cause I
Yeah.
had that. Oof.
But I think the Xbox might have gotten Unreal 2K3 or something like that. Maybe I think so, but yeah.
Oh man, yeah. There were just so many. I think there's so many franchises that started then that are still around today, and I guess we could say the same thing about the previous gens as well.
Hmm.
But I feel like a lot of stuff we're seeing a lot of things that are continuing being remade from
From Gen 6.
from Gen
Well, now
6.
we're getting to the point where it's Gen 7 remakes, but yeah.
Yeah, the remakes.
Yeah. And honestly, and technically, like if you wanted to go handheld, like handheld gens, then that's Game Boy Advance. That's the Game Boy Advance gen.
That's the Game Boy Advance gen. I didn't have. I had some advanced games, but I think I played a lot of Game Boy Color.
Hmm. Yeah, me too. Me as a kid, I
Pokemon
would say yeah.
Pinball was like summers. I would just love playing
Yeah.
Pokemon Pinball. That game was,
Yeah.
and the Rumble on that game was fun too, man. Pokemon Pinball.
Oh, it was good. Yeah, and there's only a couple games that use the Rumble, and Pokemon Pinball was one of them. And I want to say
I don't even remember
there
another
was
one.
like a fishing game in Japan that used the Rumble that we never got, obviously, in North America. I've seen it at like a book off in like a dusty bin or whatever. But yeah.
Such good.
So yeah, if you wanted to, like for me, um Gen 6 is like that's where it's at if you have to do a console gen. And you're saying
Mhm.
like that gen has the most memories for you. For me, nostalgia wise, it's not Gen 6, but
Mhm.
I had to be like, okay, well, this is, I got to give Gen 6 credit, for being probably the best generation of video games.
Being the best generation,
Yeah.
man. We're talking about some vets over here. The best
Yeah.
generation.
Yeah. I think for me, like just memory wise, it's probably just Gen 5. So that's PlayStation and Nintendo 64.
Mm.
So I know there's
Gosh.
significantly less games on those gens, but just
Mhm.
nostalgia wise, I mean that would be N64 and that would be Game Boy Color. So obviously that's just me, growing up, and
Mm.
that's a lot of like sleepovers with my friends. We would do Smash Bros, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark.
Hey, you had friends to play those with.
Yeah, I had
I would
friends.
no. I mean,
Yeah.
like I lived out in the countryside, so I didn't have like any multiplayer games. I never played Golden. I played GoldenEye once.
Oh shit! Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
You might have missed. I feel like you missed out, but
I missed
I
out.
mean,
People were just all
by
hyped
not
on it.
having
What
by
is
not
this?
having friends, I guess. But
Friends nearby. Friends nearby. I had friends.
right. Yeah. No. Like for me, if we're talking just nostalgia wise and like memory wise, like I could be a kid again, kind of wise. Definitely the N64. Just for that reason, and because that's Game Boy Color and that's N64. That's Pokemon basically for me, and
It's
that's
a lot of
Smash Bros.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
Pokemon
Definitely.
Stadium, Snap,
Oh my god, yeah.
all
That's
like
it's like
up
Stadium
to
Snap
silver.
and
I
then Gen
think
1,
Gold and
Gen
Silver.
2. Yeah, it's gold, silver, red, blue. Well, red, blue, yellow technically would be like the
Yellow. I did have yellow.
OG Game Boy, but yeah,
Right, right. Hmm. There,
yeah.
I mean, oh man, I mean, like we do get really nostalgic for titles like Pod Racer and Star Fox 64 was a thing that was a thing. Mortar, okay, what's up is in the chat. I miss how our consoles would become discolored.
Like the Super Famicom becomes like this disgusting yellow color actually. Like
It
the Super
does.
Nintendo, like it
It,
gets really gross. Yeah.
we never talked about like just blowing. You know what? The most nostalgic memory has to be for I think all of us as gamers is blowing in the disc. Did you?
The
I mean,
cart,
not the
not the
cart.
disc. What the fuck are
Sorry,
you
the disc
talking
cart.
about?
We don't have carts anymore, man. I call them all disc.
Well, no, we do. The Switch uses carts, but
Man,
yeah,
don't just. I don't have a Switch.
yeah.
I'm a cop out. But no, yeah, blowing in the cartridge
You
was
know
the
that doesn't do anything actually,
it
right? Like all
you
you have
know
to do
to
is reset the pins. Like you actually, they say not to do it
they
because it
say not
causes
yeah,
condensation on the pins.
right, right. But at the
But
same time, I have to say, uh in daycare, like first, second, third, fourth grade or whatever,
yeah,
we would literally like, oh man, it's not working. So I would
just
blow in it.
blow on the
No, so
cart.
it's no, no,
Yeah,
no. I would blow on it, but then like, oh, it didn't work again. So then I would pass it to a friend, and a friend would blow on. I'm like, I'm surprised we didn't just get sick off each other because we're like, we're
it's
spreading.
like this like third. That's like what is it? That's like air French kissing or something like
Just
that. But yeah. No, technically, all you have to do actually is just reset the pins. That's really all you need to do. You don't need to blow on it or
tell your
anything.
kids if they ever need to do
Yeah,
that, just reset the pins.
yeah. No,
um,
like so. Here's what's up. So after I moved to Japan, for a couple years actually, I would go hunting for old consoles in Akiba, right, like
mhm, mhm.
Akihabara.
There's a lot of them
So
there.
we have, so me and my girlfriend now, we have a Super Famicom, we have a GameCube, an N64. I've always had my PS2. I just brought that with me. I bought it in Japan, then I bought it in Canada, then I brought it back to Japan. But
It's
so
travel the world.
yeah, well, like just well, at least an ocean. But so we
Yeah.
have a yeah, we have a N64, the Super Famicom, and a PS2.
No Dreamcast.
And sorry, what?
No Dreamcast.
No, we don't. I mean, I should get a Dreamcast.
You
Really,
should get
honestly,
one. I
like
mean, like
I've always wanted it.
that's
Yeah,
the one, man. That's the one
yeah,
everyone across the seas that when they're growing up, they're like, I wish I had a Dreamcast.
yeah. I don't have a PS1 because I have a PS2, and a PS2 is actually
Is it
backwards compatible. So I don't have a
right?
PS1. I don't need one.
Right.
But yeah, and I honestly like gotta say like some of the most fun I have is going to Akihabara and like digging for old games, like looking for gems and like, oh, do you remember Turtles in Time? Like, yeah, let's go look for that. Like we would do that. We'd be like, I want to get this game and this game, and we would just go and like,
That was date night right there.
yeah,
I want to
really, I'm
go.
actually not, yeah,
That
legitimately like
was-
not kidding. Yeah, it was really fun. So we would just be like, oh, we would be like, I'm getting this. So we would go look for games. And for a while, my holy grail. So always have to have like a holy grail game, right?
Yeah, the one that like if you find it, like you have to get it no matter what the cost is.
Yeah. So my holy grail for a while was Pokemon Trading Card Game 2, which actually never came out in English. So it's on the
Okay,
game like
I
yeah.
just remember like one. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So 2 never came out in English. It was Japan only. It was a Game Boy Color game. That was my holy grail. It took me, I would say, 2 years to find that one. And when I did
Oh,
find it,
nice.
it was like 5,000 yen for a Game
Oh,
Boy
well,
Color
that's not
game.
bad. That's not. I mean, it's
I mean, it's
$50
up there
ish, but
for
it's
Game
not
Boy
like
Color
it could
games.
be
Yeah.
worse. It could be worse.
Yeah, so that was my holy grail for a while, and now I think I mean I haven't gone looking for games in a while, but if I were to go back for looking for games, I would probably do Metal Gear Solid Ghost Babel, also on the Game Boy Color.
That was me going, what?
Like, what is Metal Gear Solid? Metal Gear Solid is a video game franchise from Konami.
This man.
Uh, main character is usually Solid Snake, but
Oh
yeah,
man. I mean, yeah, and Morto, okay, feel free to chime in with your favorite console generation or what console you had the most memories or had the most fun with, and anyone else in the chat too. I mean, it is kind of interesting, like how games and how just anything in life really does define like who you were at that moment. Because, like I said, and I've told the story on the podcast. Um, when it came to Devil May Cry, that was the first game I ever played with a gun in it, like an actual gun, and
yeah, Ebony and Ivory,
and
right?
Ivory,
Yeah,
and I literally like when I bought the game, like first of all, I'm from a very very Christian family, so
yeah.
so I
But no, that's good. You're fighting demons. It's a good thing, actually. Yeah.
so I had to take this to my mom to buy it, and my mom's like, "What is this game?" I'm like,
What is this
it's
game?
called Devil May Cry. And Dante's got his guns on the front cover, and I'm like, she's like, "Do you think you can handle? Can you play this without freaking out or something?" I'm like, I'm okay. It seems fine.
What
Seems
is the
cool.
cover of DMC? I can't
It's just
remember
him sitting
actually.
down. I think he's just sitting crossed with his sword on his back, and then he's just got the guns down. They're just like
That's the American
it
cover,
was a
right?
very it was a very simple cover. But yeah, I played
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I played that demo, and I was just like, oh my goodness, this changed it changed how I thought about games. And
Is this
I
the? Oh yeah, it is. He's got his
yeah,
guns. He's got his arms
it's
crossed.
just crossed, and he just
He looks like a verified badass. Actually, that is
but
the American cover. The Japanese cover has him pointing guns through a set of opening doors. That's the Japanese cover.
oh, I should probably take a look at that
Like
one.
he's like as if he's gonna shoot you. But yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. Do you have any stories like that where you were just like the game that changed you as a gamer?
Um,
That was it for me. Like that game probably just opened it up because if I didn't play that, I probably would never played a God of War. I never would have played any other game
I
that seemed like
don't
had violence in
know.
it.
I would like for the longest time. I actually only played JRPGs. I would
Hmm.
exclusively. Those are the only games that I touched. Actually, were Japanese games, not just JRPGs, but let's say Japanese games. So
Hmm.
like Kirby and Smash Bros. And Final Fantasy a lot of the GameCube games and some of the PS2 JRPGs. Right.
Hmm.
I can't remember what it was. I would say like there was a game that I would say opened me up to Western games.
Okay,
I want to say maybe it was Time Splitters.
that game was that game was fun. That game it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean Time Splitters for me made sense because it was really similar to Perfect Dark actually,
Hmm.
like the multiplayer especially, right?
Right, right.
But I don't know. It's not like after I played Time Splitters, it's not like I started jumping on like, oh, I want to play every like Western games now or anything like that. So I would say maybe a little bit late in life for sure, but I actually do want to say Left 4 Dead actually.
Really, Left 4 Dead. We came
Yeah,
back around to it.
I was playing it on the 360 because I was a console gamer for a long time, and
Your eyes weren't open to the light.
yeah. So I was playing Left 4 Dead with some friends on console, and I was remember. So my brother-in-law, he's a bit older than me,
Hmm.
so he was like like a PC gamer, right? He's been a PC gamer for a while. I remember he came over and he was playing Left 4 Dead on my 360, and he was like, "Why is turning so slow? Why is this so hard? Like, why? What is this bullshit aim?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean this is Left 4 Dead? Like, what do you mean this is Left 4 Dead?" And then I remember like when I went, then I played on his PC. He's like, "I have Left 4 Dead." I'm like, "Okay, shit." I played
Yeah,
on
your
his
eyes. You were
PC.
like, "Oh my goodness, I can turn."
Yeah. And I was like, "Well, how do you control this? It's so fast." I'm like, what is, yeah. So that's, and then, so my brother in law, he got me, I guess he got me started on PC gaming because I had like my computer was like a goddamn like Dell Inspiron that was a hand me
Hey,
down from my
mine was a
parents, right?
Dell XPS. I was so happy I got that XPS. I was like, finally, I can play games with good graphics
Yeah,
on
yeah,
dial
yeah.
up.
So my PC act was like just a hand me down from my dad, really.
Hmm.
So my brother-in-law, he got me started. He got this budget GPU, like a fairly cheap AMD, kind of like an entry level, AMD graphics
Right.
card, and he just popped that into my my Dell Inspira. And then now
Set
I
you
was
up.
playing Left
Set
4
you up.
Dead. I was playing like Mass Effect. So I
Had
guess
you?
that's how I got started on PC game. That's honestly, I would say pretty late in life. That's like early uni
Okay. Oh, yeah.
college for me. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Uh, yeah. Mordoke is saying that anything that wasn't 2D was next gen graphics, like back in the day. So anything from like Chrono Trigger sprites on SNES to Final Fantasy 7 on PS1, and then Time Crisis for him was on the Saturn was one of the games that was just like unreal. Which I can't remember. Did Time Crisis have the light guns? If I remember,
Yeah, it did. Yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
Time Crisis is the one with the
Even
light
on
guns.
PS2. Even on maybe PlayStation actually. Yeah, you can
You
definitely get
know,
light gun lens for it.
do
Yeah.
you think they're gonna have the like a light make like a special light gun accessory for the House of the Dead revival that's coming out?
I hope so. That'd be pretty fucking
That would
cool.
be
Yeah.
pretty. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, oh man, light gun games. That's some good arcade fun right there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I remember the House of the Dead Overkill on the Wii just used the janky ass fucking the Wii
The Wii remote and
like holster thing. Yeah, I hated that. But
they did have it. You know, in the PS3, I think had the thing for
oh, with the move
the
controllers.
move controllers, which apparently
Yeah,
like whatever game used it really well. I can't remember. There's like 2 or 3 games that you could
it's
use the
like
move
two
controllers.
games or whatever. Yeah,
Oh man, they kept us buying plastic.
but yeah, yeah.
But oh man, I gotta say though, game probably the gen I had the most fun though was that the next was PS3 360.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
and
because we had friends.
well, yeah, and that's the advent really of online gaming. So now you can play with people who aren't even in the same room with you, and I definitely just as I mean those consoles were important to the industry as a whole, just as we got online play and a lot of good games really from that
Hmm.
gen as well.
A lot of good games.
We
Yeah.
we talked about PS3 games a while ago, but that's like Metal Gear Solid 4, and that's God of War 3,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Layer. I'm kidding, but
I always want to play Lair. I
it's a
secretly
bad game
no they added the controls years and years later. You were able to play
with a stick.
with a stick, but then
Yeah.
like a year after that they went under. So Factor 5 is no more, of course. But I mean, because they did all the Rogue Squadron games, so I was like, they can't do that bad, right? Can't be that bad, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
It was that bad. It was that
What else we get?
bad.
We got FF13.
Yeah, you got all
Um,
your
yeah, all
FF13s.
the 13 games, I guess technically,
Oh,
but yeah. We got 13. We got
I mean, for me, Rock Band.
yeah, sure, Rock Band, Guitar Hero.
Rock
Well, Guitar
Band
Hero
was
2.
yeah,
No,
Guitar Hero
Guitar 3. Sorry,
3, I
2
think.
was on PS2 still. Yeah.
Uh, oh, goodness, yeah, Rock Band. I had the whole set, so like it was
Did you
Friday
have friends?
nights.
Did you have friends
Yeah,
though?
yeah. So like I mean, like
Okay.
I had friends to play with, and it was amazing. Like Friday nights, you could go
Yeah,
play some
yeah,
Rock Band,
yeah.
but it stunk because you had a whole bunch of crap at the end of the day when no one was playing Rock Band. Just like this empty drum set just there and like guitars
And
and
the
you're like
fucking guitar, two guitars maybe, perhaps.
mic
Yeah.
chords and
Yeah,
SingStar.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh man, I had SingStar as well.
I had SingStar as
Everything.
well, actually. Yeah, for sure. No, the PS2 has a solid, like, also a really good selection of video games. But I mean, if we're talking about just like best gen, I have to say six, really.
Yeah, we and that's also the time that we were alive. It'd be
Well,
interesting,
yeah, no,
especially
well, yeah, time we
it
were
was
alive. Yeah,
it was a
we're
time
dead
that
now.
we were most
Yeah,
awake awoken. We were waking up as a gamer. But it would be interesting, to go back and see, for people who are older than us, especially maybe 5, 10 years older, who had more experience with the those older gens, and even before that, like we joke around with say like Atari and Commodores and stuff like that, but just to see like, hey, that stuff for them was like revolution. They're like, the heck, I can do
yeah.
this on a TV, but you know what was their favorite? That would be really interesting to find
And
out.
well, actually the opposite. Like, I want to talk to someone who's like in
Who's
their
young?
early 20s, and I want to ask them like, what do you think is the best console gen? And I probably am willing to bet they would say the PS3. So
Would they say PS3?
well, I don't know. I mean,
That era? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean, because that was towards the time where even like I think we start getting into it. Like kids have tablets. Like parents are getting kids tablets at one point, and Minecraft is the thing. And I mean, that's still that generation, but their view
well,
of games starts
I
getting
mean,
like
okay, to be fair, like if
skewed
you are
from
in your
us.
mid to like early 20s now, you probably did play PS2 games, and you might look at a PS2 in the same way that I look at an N64.
Hmm.
So I
You
guess
might.
someone might say the PS2, but I'd be willing to bet that people would be more willing to be like, oh, the PS3 is much more influential and much a better console generation.
It also had Sonic. Sonic, what was that? Sonic 2006?
Well,
Was that it?
officially, like it was just called Sonic the Hedgehog,
Sonic the Hedgehog, but
but people call it '06 because it's the one that came out in 2006. But yeah.
yeah, we know what happens
I'm serious, by the
06.
way. Hey, by the way, I'm serious. Like, if
Don't
they
take go play that.
remade it, it would probably be an okay game.
They remade it. Yeah,
If
sure.
they
It would,
remade it, I think it would
but
be
would
a
Sonic still be kissing
decent.
a human girl? Would Sonic
I
still
will
be
leave that
kissing a
in. No,
girl?
leave that in. Yeah,
Would
that's
Sonic still just
fucking.
be getting? Would Sonic
No,
still be
they have
spitting
to leave
game?
that in. That's
Sonic would still be
absolutely
spitting
like,
game. Like, oh man.
yeah. You can't. I don't think you can remake '06 and not have Sonic kissing whatever her name is, Elise, I
Oh,
think. But yeah,
Something so strange. Sega, what
That
were
has
you
to be
on?
that. No, it's like wait, no. Sonic wasn't kissing her. She kissed Sonic. That's what happened.
Either way,
So
man.
like Sonic like died, I think. Something like Sonic died. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. I think Sonic died, and then she kissed him, and it brought him back to life. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But yeah,
That's what I wish could happen anytime. You just die and
just
someone
what to
kisses you.
you? Just die? Yeah. Hey, you should try
Hey,
that. You
no,
should be
no,
out in public and just
no.
see like the super cute girl, and then just die,
Just
and
die
be
and just be
like.
like, please,
But you
just
have like
hope.
one eye open. You're like, you gotta kiss
No,
me.
you just leave a sign on you and then have like someone come up and be like, "Yo," and
Kiss to
just
revive,
kiss to
please.
revive and see who
Yeah.
who comes up there and kisses you for revival.
Yeah, it's like a dude. It's like a
Gosh.
yeah.
This is we run out of steam when we're talking about
Not
just
that there's
freaking.
anything wrong with dudes kissing dudes. I'm just making it clear here. But yeah,
Oh, well then. Well, this is what happens when we don't have a topic. No, we
I
had a
invite
topic.
I
We
invite kisses from all manners of people. But yeah,
Oh man. Well, it's been good. I think we actually finished on a good time for once.
oh yeah,
Okay, never mind. It's like 51 minutes. It's around the same time as
sure. Yeah, no,
always.
we can finish up. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy whenever I edit the podcast, I look at exact like the segment times. We switch segments almost the exact same time for every podcast, like
Oh,
naturally.
that's
Like
like
the timing is like
clockwork. Yeah,
yeah, the timing is like by like either a minute or like 10 seconds off.
that's
It's
pretty crazy.
weird. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't time this stuff. Anyways, remember you can follow us on our Twitter and our Instagram at UGP_cast. No, we do not have a TikTok. No, we do not have a Clubhouse,
Is
but we
that
could have
is
one.
like a promise? And I'll never have a TikTok.
Hey, I was thinking we could do this on Clubhouse though. We could do just
I
all
refuse. I refuse. Yeah.
dude, Club. I'm telling you, man, it's the wave of the future.
Oh my god. No.
No, no. Anyways, you got anything you want to promote, Pimp?
No, I don't. I mean, follow me on Twitch actually, but that's it.
Yeah. So you can follow him on Twitch at Route24, ROUTE24. You can also follow myself at Ninja Tricks, NINJATRIX. I am currently playing Crash Bandicoot 4 and Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is getting good. We are now in Neverland. Peter Pan thinks he's the stuff. This man,
you have so
God.
many. Are you gonna do 2 and 3 and 2.4?
I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going.
I'm
I'm gonna keep going. I just have to like it's. I feel like it's gonna be like in every other month, like every 2 months is a
You'll
Kingdom
be like
Hearts.
45 when you're done the series or something.
Telling you, man, the game. I'm having a lot of fun. Me, Donald, and Goofy. We're all clicking finally.
Me, Tom, Goofy. Yeah, okay.
Freaking Sora's telling Riku, "You're stupid." I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
it's literally said the words, "You're stupid." Cool. And Peter Pan, like I said, thinks he's the stuff. Literally said, "I'm the answer to your problems."
That's what Peter Pan said.
He literally said that. It's like Sora's like, "Who are you?" "I'm the answer to your problems." Donald's like, "What?"
I wish I had Peter Pan's confidence. Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah, his confidence was way too high on that one.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's gonna do it for us this week. This is episode 85.
85.
Yeah, episode number 85. We'll see you next week for episode number 86, where we might have an actual we might be playing other games and talk about that or food, or it might not be
We'll
raining
see.
outside. We'll see.
Did you have any good food recently? Any Japanese food?
No. That was me thinking.
I had the
as I
nuggets
said.
from McDonald's, the Gende sauces, the spicy tomato, and
Oh,
then the
I
egg
had those.
tartare.
The spicy tomato was actually
It's
good.
Spicy
It's good.
tomato is good. Egg tartare is garbage. That's it.
It's because it's egg tartar sauce.
It tastes like nothing really. It just didn't. Really
It tastes
taste
like
good,
it shouldn't be going on chicken nuggets. It
yeah,
should be
yeah,
on a
yeah.
sandwich spread or
That's my
something.
one
You know?
line review. Spicy tomato, yeah. Egg tartare, no.
The only thing about the spicy tomato before we go is that it is a little too thin. I want it to be a little thicker sauce.
Oh, really?
No, it's a very thin sauce. It was kind of runny
to
for
me,
me.
it was basically like marinara sauce to me. That's what it tasted like.
Yeah, slightly spicy.
It's like marinara
very
sauce,
slightly spicy.
Which is
marinara
good because they don't
sauce.
sell that in Japan normally. So I was like, oh, thank God, marinara
I feel
sauce.
like you can get some marinara sauce. You just gotta go to an import store.
Oh yeah, I've never gone to a restaurant and seen it. So yeah.
Yeah. The restaurant they don't treat us right.
Yeah.
They don't.
Okay.
I mean,
anyways.
yeah. Anyways, we're gonna be going. Remember, you set the tone. Go play some games, have some fun. If you want to get into Apex Season 9, it's the one to start with. I won't stop saying it. Go play some arenas.
Yeah.
Get your game on.
Yeah. Do it.
There we go.
All right.
Peace.
All right, peace.